Hi, making a random video. A little bit dizzy today, but sorry, probably shouldn't have music in the background. It's not like anyone will probably see it anyway. Okay, so for someone's past, we have two present, one from the past, one from the future, and two possible future lines related to one decision. So we have the Emperor in reverse. So we have someone who's lost a position of power and status. Someone who's been placed upside down in the world or buried upside down. Okay. We have someone doing something out of love, someone holding an item or something out of love, like a happy, blissful time. And we have someone who is this kind of relates to a star. It's upside down, but it's the right way around. So, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I don't feel like searching up the meanings of the card Ace of Pentacles in reverse though. So we have a friend, someone masquerading, someone playing masquerade, or someone full of masquerade. Okay, and someone from the past to do with the masquerade. Someone who is chugging? Someone who's been chugging something, so someone who might have been drinking a tincture, some liquid, or could have been chugging, or, something's going down their throat. We have two future possibilities. The Star in reverse, and Temperance in reverse. So someone is going to be returning something, or temperance, meaning someone might receive some judgment, some justice, or someone else is going to do it. So either someone or someone else is going to do it. Either someone's going to be returning something, or someone else is going to, based on a decision built out of a moment of jealousy, envy, and theft, disguised as beauty. So I'm getting these two people could have actually been different people, one disguised as the other. And I'm seeing, obviously, there's a blue flower in this card, based in this card. So people returning or giving something back to where it should be, based on a moment of jealousy, envy, based on someone's natural gifts or natural looks or beauty. So someone's turned on someone purely because they were jealous of something that they possess naturally. Okay, so someone was working hard to collect fruits, like someone might have been working in the field, going out to try to collect flowers or something for someone or a situation, or do something. And there was like two swans, so there was two lovers from different sides or different beings or two different worlds. A wise woman, a woman in a position of power, someone who has rightfully the throne, had right to the throne, was sitting in the background observing, possibly from behind some lilacs, like some purple and white flowers. And they saw someone merrily on the way, picking flowers, and saw a true side of them that no one has really ever seen or experienced. And we have a being to do with some divine judgment cast that will be balancing and achieving equilibrium. So someone's going to be weighing the balance and weighing the difference. Someone's going to see the difference and weigh the difference of the difference. See the difference of things that happened too quickly. Maybe something changed too quickly, and they're going to be re-achieving balance and equilibrium. And someone could get a feathered headrest, which is on top of the card, so someone's going to be receiving an object or an item they should have had that belonged to them rightfully, that should have been possessed by them, and like a family heritage. Let's see, how can I make a story from this? Okay, so there once was a moon that was reversed to undone, like a cycle that was undone. So like the cycles of the moon ever changing forward is a natural thing. So if someone has undone something that was natural and actually they're occurring, they tried to undo it, and they've taken this thing, something like a possession or a piece of jewelry, something they could wear or flaunt or show as their own when it's actually not rightfully theirs and they have it as their own. They've also tried to crop this and turn it to something that could crop the earth and lay claims to something that was rightfully not theirs, not rightfully theirs. Um, Swords were crossed. People split apart on the truth of this and what it should be. Someone has been attemptedly stabbed in the back, um, but someone has misdirected the blow so that it did not touch or affect them yet. And someone's going to see and release this love back into the world, return this love, these stolen things back to where it should be, as someone had once cornered them or someone they love or care about with swords drawn under false orders and false ownership because they have received like some expensive items or objects or swords and training from someone else versus a single being who was merely on their way and was not trying to hurt anyone. And this being was quite loved to someone, and someone they know could have been pregnant. Um, and this person could have had a headband and a heart in their hair, like a heart jeweled little thing or something like that. And I'm getting there could be even someone wearing a purple dress who was on their way to the sea or to see the ocean or to see the sea. So someone was on their way to the ocean along. This girl could have got lipstick. And there were three children, three married children. Three children who liked to frolic and play in the fields. They had all of them had little tummies. And someone has chose to use love or their love as a weapon against them. And two beings were surrounded by staffs. So two beings were surrounded by power, to try to hurt them or keep them. Um, and these people were back to back, um, in spite of the other one because someone else has tried to, you know, try to attack them from both angles or tried to use some unnatural. Well, it looks like it's a natural force, but also looks unnatural. So maybe it's an unnaturally acquired force against them. The one they claim to, which is not theirs. Like a trap, and someone is going to or has set sail on a journey in a boat, and I'm getting again the swords thing, so something could try to attack or stop this boat or this sailing ship and settlement. So someone's going to put a hole in the boat anyway, so perhaps someone is going to use a sword, and someone's going to stab a sword through this boat, because there's going to be a hole in the boat anyway. This way, if you put the swords where they're going to attack, when they go to attack it, the sword's just going to cut the fish. And you might let a little bit of water in, but it's still not going to be enough as a full-blown hole as long as they stay up and don't fall or come out. Okay, so if someone was looking at a leaf, they're looking for leaves like maps, through maps and leaves. They are looking for mistletoe, or destined kiss. So perhaps someone was looking for a prince to kiss their daughter, because you know the rumors. It's not a succubus thing. Some people have tried to start some blasphemous rumors of succubus, but people from the real or true royal bloodlines in TV shows are said to have an enchanted kiss. So in Disney shows, true love's first kiss can break a spell, yes. But it is also believed that a prince, from the real royal bloodline or the true royal bloodline, so you know, like, got Queen Elizabeth in their bloodline, rest in peace her soul. But the kiss or the true prince, or a destined prince or a prince who is from the royal bloodline, will possess an innate kiss-based ability. So it's kind of like a blessing and a kiss. So they might kiss them on the forehead. And this kiss from the royal bloodline is said to actually have the power to break curses. So the kiss from a royal on the forehead or the shoulder or the lips or the side of the mouth, depending how much they care about them, or this or that, can reverse curses, allegedly. That's like a rumor. Or a kiss on the hand might be able to undo a wicked scorn, or something like that. So yeah, a kiss can break curses from someone from a royal bloodline. Even if you stole their lips and their body, you still wouldn't be able to do it. Maybe that's what someone tried to corrupt. Princess of Health. Okay, I'm getting something about health in this one. So someone's looking around, someone's looking at a list. I'm getting something to do. It says health, but I also see someone could have herpes. So when I see this list, someone is looking at this or that and planning. I also get, I don't know if this is just me putting my situations into it, but someone may be trying to infect people with this or that so they can say that they've done things when they haven't, or they were dating when they haven't, or that they were this. I know some people have used trying to give people STDs as a, like, raping them or assaulting them in their sleep or doing this or that to say that they, like, promiscuous or they did this or that, but they were raped in their sleep, or some of these people even drug these people with all the herpes needles as well. And I'm getting someone has a bunch of spells, so there's a bunch of spells cast to alter something, and something might not look as it should or appear as it should. So someone's trying to hide something or cover something or make themselves look like something they're not and change something. But yeah, so in the stories and the fables, true love's first kiss can break a spell, but a prince from the royal bloodline is said to hold that ability naturally, so it's not like a succubus thing because they might be able to take the curse a different way, but a prince from a bloodline, it's said that true love's first kiss can break it, but also the kiss of a prince is powerful enough to break any curse if they're truly destined and truly in the right and they have not done any wrong by the people. And especially if those people believe in them, I think it's a two-way thing. Like, you have to believe in the prince, and they're good, not just be doing it for this or that. Which is weird, because actually I saw on a Sims game that some people say turning in the royal thing, turn a frog into a prince or princess, which is interesting, because that very much stems from the rumour. So we have a chariot or wagon stopping. Someone's going to be stopping and seeing something. Someone is surrounded by dangers and energy. Someone is very trapped and surrounded by something horrible. The hermit, I'm getting the herpes again. A highly infected being, walking around muttering and murmuring. This one has actually made some dark deals and some horrid things. Someone could be heavily infected with something. And there's a woman with white or silver hair who likes to wear a brown jacket or jumper or outfit, who has been or is looked upon by this. Maybe they can see each other, maybe not. And I'm getting he's trying to do something to this woman. Something to do with a golden. I saw that one cause maybe it's that. A woman innocently frolicking in the field. Maybe they're gonna go out and pee on some flowers because it's fucking nature, so why would you not pee where you're intended to be? Okay, I'm getting a wheel. There's like a wheel around the head. Wheel in the head, but fortune and justice is going to prevail in this situation. And I'm seeing a sword. I'm seeing someone who's kind of a bit of a barbarian, and a sword intervening, stopping this, looking for the wheel, stopping this, and the wheel of fortune and justice will be brought down upon them. And again, the hangman in reverse, so someone's trying to turn something or a situation upside down and make it not what it should be. To corrupt, to lie, to make false claims because they have stolen something. And these beings, I got this card again, have tried to make a deal with some wicked beings and some wicked forces. And I'm getting they're trying to put their weakness and their sickness into someone else and steal someone else, other people's like strength and beauty, or even just infect other people to make them worse. It's like, if I have herpes and I give everybody herpes, and nobody will have herpes. Incredibles moment, and that's their plan, to infect the whole world so that they're normal and more people will want them. It actually reminds me of a story I was told when I was younger. Something based on a movie, and there's also a hot tub in reference here. There was once a blonde boy. I used to work with someone who looked like them, and I was warned about it in advance. Um, no one, like that person wanted to have sex and do this or that, but they were kind of a dick, and they were a bully, and there was hair of the dog reference. And they wanted to fuck a bunch of people, um, but no one would do it with them because they were so rude and so mean to these people, and they were kind of a bully. So this man turned around and he might have, I don't know if the rumors said he was half demon or he turned into an evil being when he did this or not, but he made a deal with an evil demon and tried to create a curse, made a deal so that if someone refused sex with him, people would begin to think they're sexually promiscuous and sluts and like them less. And he could crop them with like a disease born of sex, which was like herpes in its origin. And say those are the sluts would have herpes who fuck everyone, but those were the ones who refuse sex and try to use it as a fear tactic to make all these beings do that. To make them look older and uglier and grosser too. I've heard a rumor about that. And yeah, so he started doing this or that, but he himself had this disease and he kind of became like a demon or demonic being that had associated with beings of herpes and STDs. This being tries to like pretend to be and invoke a lot of people. He's actually been seen and known, this blonde guy, to pretend to be the child of nature or Mother Nature. He always pretends to be a lot of other beings. There was also times when he was younger, which is weird because he might have been old before. It could have been their son or it could have been them. Had been living down the end of the street. There was someone on that street who worked in a brothel. There was a brothel down that street, and these people were like, "This is all our fault," because there had been bad people and there had been children going missing. So these people were like, "It's all our fault," because they thought it was all our fault. And one of them knew something different, and these people had been working, living in a brothel, whether or not they were willing, who knows. And children had gone missing, and they thought, "Oh my god, this is our fault. This must be because we're doing it." And this kid from down the street, this blonde kid, went up to this house. I can't remember if it was on the corner or not, and the trees outside. And he said, "Can I stay here? My parents are abusive," so they kind of let him stay there, but they were kind of a little bit evil and manipulative and this or that. So like, you need to go back to your house. We'll call the police if you feel in danger at your house. You can live with them, but we can't have you here right now. We can't afford it, and we're not sure where you're going, so you need maybe professional help. And this guy turned around because he said that his father at the house he lived at before he came to this house on the corner had assaulted him sexually and raped him, which sucked. But then he also claimed, like, they're like, "Can we adopt you?" Well, they're like, "No, we're not sure if you can adopt you," this or that. And then he turned around and said that he was actually the child of the people at that house, and they were his real family. And they're like, "Well, they told people he lives here, but it's not a child, a biological child. He's lived here. We didn't like somewhere for him to go and take this or that." And he even tried to say the child was not their child, which reminds me of a different story about evil children pretending to be SA'd or going through abuse by their children because they were horrible and no one wanted to F them too. And they turned on their father and they put their father in a gimp suit and said he was a prostitute, and the children, some of the children, not all of them, like I think the daughter was assaulted in a situation too, pretended that their father was just a slut everyone wanted to have sex with so they could rape their own father by tying them up in their sleep, stealing the house, stealing the money, stealing the profit, and putting their own father into a gimp suit, saying that they were a sex worker or they were a slut or they were doing this or that, and their father was, but they had been doing it as well. The card being that associates them. Being in this story was depicted to kind of look like the one on Winx as well, that Sky character. There's also another story about someone who looked like that, who was supposed to be, he claimed to be the adopted child of the Red Dragon, which was possibly true, but he said that to the actual biological child of the Red Dragon, which was on a farmhouse and was in the fairy world, and that being was not just a dragon. So they took part with these people because they found out they were raping, murdering people. They were like stealing people's farmhouse, like that guy who said they were their stepson. He used this to try to steal people's hard-earned farms, hard-earned money, hard-earned houses, and they were not okay with this. And this dragon was just a full-blooded dragon. It was born a dragon. It was a complete dragon. It didn't really care about many other things, and they didn't want to, it wouldn't hurt their child or their son, but the actual half-blooded son, who was like, mother was something else and something else, who their aunties tried to help them do this or that, two of the aunties helped him, one of them might have actually died in this battle, and they're like, "You can't do this to people," and they're like, "You need to stop this and this or that," and this one was in the bath, and they're like, "You need to stop doing this to people, blah blah," and then, they turned on them. So this child ended up coming back in a fight with these two blonde women, the aunties, and this or that, and they fought the dragon. This dragon looked like Scyther from the Yu-Gi-Oh card ones. these dragons possess 7 mouths, or have possessed 7 mouths. Someone might have tried to steal these 7 mouths from a dragon once too, because some of them eventually turn on the good one. So it's whether or not the dragon was actually evil, but that child in the bathtub definitely was, and did horrible things and raped people and stole their farms, which was not their farms and this or that. So he ended up burning it down. And anyway, he was extremely manipulative. He's like, I was the adopted child of this dragon. So they end up fighting them and going up against them. And they're not sure if it was the right decision in the end, because the red dragon could have been manipulated too. It could have not been, but it appeared to be quite evil at that point in time. So they went up against it, and they ended up together working, and he killed his father and the red dragon with these 2 blonde ladies, and one of them died in the process and stuff, and she cried for her sister, and they managed to beat it. And this or that. But then these evil beings kind of wanted to bring it back. They wanted to bring this dragon back so that they could use it to take over this or that too. But I don't know what was going on with that red dragon, because they had thought they were so kind and lovely and nice before that, and they were the actual biological son. But that blonde guy who looked like that Sky character on Wings was quite manipulative, and the adopted child and this or that. But he had been quite evil, and he also, I don't know, because he had also claimed they were his, but they knew, like, at this point in time, they knew. I knew those people when you were young. I watched those people save up and buy this house rightfully, and you had nothing to do with it. You just wanted it, and they refused to let you have it, so you tried to rape and murder these people. Someone who looks like this in a later story ends up going up against someone saying, I'm faster, I'm the strongest, don't you smile in front of me or be too happy or do this or that, and they end up getting angry and getting a sword and doing a thunder, and they like, because they had been taught how to make a spark with a sword, and it was red, and as soon as it touched them, they just disintegrated, and it left this imprint on a cover, and they're like, it must be a holy sign from the universe left by God. And I was like, this person was like, well, what the fuck are you gonna do? I can't exactly say what I did. People think I'm insane. And it wasn't supposed to be that bad, but they couldn't deal with this abuse and this narcissism and these horrid things anymore. Yeah. So this being ended up going because their father hurting them, and people tried to bring this one back, but times had been fairly peaceful, and they're not sure, because some people said they were good and evil, and it was like being caught between this 2 minds and this chaos, and it was horrible, like which one's real, which one's true. So, they beat the red one with 7 mouths, and it was actually their biological parent, which is weird, because they also had a sister who was seen, like in that TV show, who turned red, who some people made her think because she turned red she was a sex demon or succubus, but she was also the child of the dragon. That's why her skin turned red. Yeah, and it was kind of interesting, but yeah, they ended up beating them, and they kind of cut them into pieces, because, you know, they were involved in doing these horrible things to people. It was a horrible situation, and they weren't sure if it was the right or wrong thing to do, and it the burden weighed on them heavily, and their head, their shoulders and their head felt heavy, and their back felt straight, and they're like, I'm not sure what to do. Like, obviously it wasn't like the situation with being alive, but they're like, you know, it weighed down on them, and it was like a choice about something. Like, I think the story represents some of the choices people have to make in life, the right choice, the wrong choice. It could go horribly, it could go well. Do you truly know, or do you want to trust what you do know, you know what I mean, and what's happened and what you've seen? Okay, so this, in reverse, means someone is going to be giving what they've stolen back. This could also relate to that story I've seen online on the child of a dragon being a water and a sky dragon, one of them with like this red tail that had 2 spikes on them that was mistaken for a sex demon, and a water dragon with kind of like a blade tail with this little ball thing that would bop in the water on it too. And the story of someone, like, these beings saying, oh, it's a succubus, like, steal its power and put it in a sword, and they put their power in a sword. And they felt so bad, because they're like, other ones have found out, and I can't take them all down at once, but if you don't have that power, you're going to get cut into pieces, because that's how fucking easy it would have been for them to kill these people and eat them and rip them apart and cut them into pieces. Like, they've gone up against those ones, but far older and far more powerful, and they've been able to win before. And all these people that put their power into her sword would not have been able to beat this being with red skin. They would not have been able to win. So they said, like, you know, I don't want these people to die, but I'm not sure if they could either, but I don't want them to die. So they let them put their power into a sword, and they're like, hopefully I'll reacquire and get it back one day, so I can fight and reclaim my place. Because they even managed to survive and win to do with this. Like, some of these beings waited till they were asleep in a tree and like cut out their arm muscles, and they learned to fight without their muscles, and without muscles in their arm they couldn't really move the sword. They just jiggled around and spin. They like jiggled and spin and pervade around and still won. And yeah, they let them put their power in a sword, but it would have been so fucking ridiculously easy. It's not even funny to beat those being like they've gone up against a far greater number and far more and far older ones at once. And these were like 5 children of species they've gone up against like 100 of at a time, and all of them like 10 times the age. Which was actually kind of scary, but they still won because they were scared of people dying. Yeah. Well, it's an interesting story. I don't know what relevance it has, but it's like the relevancy and the truth of life. Maybe things can be not quite what they seem or unexpected too. Or there's also a story about a woman. This woman was mistaken for like a criminal. Like a woman in this story was mistaken for a criminal. This woman, she had wings. She had fire abilities on her. Like how she have fire power, and behind her there was all this fire, and she had wings made out of fire. Some people thought she was this. Some people thought she was that. And she was mistaken for a criminal, and people told her it was horrible. She was quite powerful, and she had wings that were made out of fire, which was something from the Bible and biblically accurate something as well. But she wasn't like seraphim, because it was in that Bible the Hell's Angels were made by God to do this or that, and God like the hell thrones, the thrones in hell of this or that, so that no demon would ever take the place and try to cause an uprising and overthrow this or that too. And people thought she was like a criminal or this or that, and she did fire, and she once got so angry at humanity and hated what humanity did so much, and was so angry she was a child of the fire-winged person. And she actually ended up doing a fireball so big it would engulf the world in fire. But her cousin was there. Her cousin, she didn't realize it was her cousin. And that man, he was born of the earth. He had been of the earth originally, but he had lived with his auntie and learned with his auntie, and he loved the ocean and the water, so he had taken on a lot of water energy and been there when rivers and ponds and lakes and all these things were created too. So when she did this, he literally just did it and got so angry and scared of people that he accidentally covered 2/3 of the earth in a storm and stopped her from doing it and put the fire out. And like, she had been mean or rude to someone, like this darker skinned one lady, this maiden. They called her a maiden. She was something called a maiden. And they didn't know what to do, because like, I want to live a life, I can't do this, but I will need to do this, and I don't want to spend 100 years on this, but I guess if I have to, I will. So someone came to them and they said, if you give your water to this maiden in this line, her line will follow and always be around that woman, and they will be able to stop her fire from getting too great and spreading, and when she comes back or is reborn or comes to this world again, they'll be able to put it out. So they actually gifted and created this line as like some kind of maiden deity thing, and they shared their water. They gave their water to them, which the water was shared amongst the entire line, which is cool, because there's a lot of stories on this of that show. Ooh, there was also another story, which I think is pretty cool. Maybe 2 stories. I don't know the whole story, so if anyone ever sees it, maybe they do, maybe they don't, you could tell me the whole story. I forgot one, but there was one that took place in India. There was an evil cobra serpent that forced the people to love and worship them, and was poisoning the people and forcing them to bring them offerings, and this person had been visiting there. This person had a palace there, and this palace was based on the natural beauty of the earth. So this person loved imperfections in life, so they made this temple to be specifically imperfect, but before people entered, they had to look at it and truly embrace this or that, and they had to see the beauty in life, whether perfect or imperfect, so they learned to see this temple as perfect, even though it actually was specifically imperfect and uneven. Which is kind of interesting. But then they snuck in, because they said this boy didn't deserve the palace here, and they tried to kill this boy in his sleep, but he survived, and they said, oh, it would be for my beautiful wife, because she's perfect, and we must be perfect and exactly perfect in perfection. And they tried to corrupt his idea into a perverted, vain version of it, but he survived, and when he survived, he went to the village where this evil cobra was doing this or that. So basically, this story, I can't remember it, he said, well, you're a cobra, this or that, so he embraced it, he embraced the land and the culture and the people he had known and the places he had been accepted. And he took on the form of a mongoose, and he chased this evil cobra. They had a fight on the side of the building, they had a fight here, they had a fight there, and he took on the form of a mongoose, and he fought this evil cobra, who was very, very deceitful and kicked it out of the village, and they said he should have eaten it and finished it and killed it, but this this man, this boy from the story, who was so ridiculously opposed to killing things that it wasn't even funny, but he one day learned you have to kill evil things in the spite or root of things so that they don't come back and enslave, rape, and murder people again. I forgot the other. Oh yes, the other story. This one takes place in Southeast Asia. One of the places this one had been, one of the couple of places this one had been native to unknown people because he was invited by people like him there. At this point in time, this story reminds me of the story for the basis of K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't know if it's the same one, but in Southeast Asia, there was a temple, and there was like a maiden, there was someone's mother, and there was all these cool, interesting people there too. And there was a bunch of people training to be these warriors because there had been some people making deals and evil things around there, and it had been a peaceful place. It might have been that the prince or someone fell in love with one of the maids, so the one he was to marry or wed, I don't know if that's the exact story, to marry or wed, if that happened, or if that was what happened later with the deals. I can't remember which way that'll go, so that part should really be interpreted, but basically, someone turned on someone and killed someone, and they tried to kill them, and they tried to kill their child. I don't know if they did kill their child or not, and all these horrible things happened, and this guy, the same guy from the last story, the other story, was there. He's like, this is not okay, this is not cool, and he watched from the background, and then these people went, and this jealous woman or man, whichever one it was, I can't remember, made, in the story, but made a deal with some demons, and like, we'll give you the power so you can be the most powerful, respected, worshipped, and revered being in all of this place in this country, and they'll all worship you, and you will have this palace, and this palace will be yours. All you need to do is make a deal and do this for us. And they did this, and they killed a couple of people slowly eventually to do it. And they opened this portal or gateway, and they let a horde of demons and tormented souls amongst the demons onto the earth, and they started sprouting out from this pyramid temple thing. And when they did that, they kind of started raping, murdering people, and this or that. And the maiden and the mother had survived this onslaught of demons as well. And when they did this, I can't really remember too much of the story, I was so young when I learned it. They did these horrible things, they tried to fight this, so this boy, they tried to take this boy out, but he fought back and like managed to beat most of them too. And then they were all overpowered and overcome by demons. He's like, I'm fighting with my own power, but how are these people, how is this maiden, this maid, and these other people? And one of them was quite an experienced huntress or warrior as well. So he said, you know, I might be okay without my power, I might not. So he said, I need to make something to steal these demons away, which was actually a staff placed in the temple pyramid. There was a staff that was placed in the pyramid temple at the end of this. So he took his energy and what he had gathered there over the years, and he used it to forge soul weapons. So he gave one a bow made out of like a spirit bow or a soul weapon made out of. I don't know if part of this was actually that the people who had died had been willing to help, which was so sad. They were crying when they did it. And then he gave one. She might have been. Was she a maiden or was she a performer? He gave her a harp, and she used the harp and she used the sound from the harp to sing and calm them and drive them away. And then one of them had like a spear and a knife. I think the fourth one was a man in this situation because one of the men there had cared about them too, which may have been the royal one. I can't remember the story too well. It's all blurry. And so essentially, towards the end of this, they used it and they fought, and these four were defending the people because most of the people had died, and they kept all these demons away from killing as many townspeople as they could and tried to save the children, save this or that people. So they forged a spear, a staff, like this, it's like a staff thing with like a weird thing on the end of it, and they made with their mind and forged a hole in the top of the temple, which was kind of like the lock on the temple. And then they did it, and they used all their powers and struck at once, and like, you know, they were having trouble getting it in because of like the evil deals that had been made. So I think some of them used this or that in the sound too, and the spirit weapons had been done and power through the staff to put it in the temple and lock it away, so that all of the demons and evil things were knocked back into the earth, so that they could never leave as long as that staff was placed in the stand where it was. Yes, and so when they did this, the evil one managed to survive, and they came back a little bit later, and this person from the background couldn't do anything. The one who had made the thing and
place to spear their way so that it could not be removed. So anyone who had made a deal with a demon or something evil could not remove the staff. So anyone who had done something evil, or maybe even those born from lines of those who had made deals with demons in the past, they couldn't remove the steel from that stadium or stand. So these evil people were like, we need to let these demons back on so we can rule everything and everyone will bow down, respect and worship and revere us. So what they wanted to do was find someone who was pure of heart and someone who had not got their powers from making a deal. I don't know if the children of demons or the ones who had made the deals couldn't take it out or not, I'm not sure, but they needed someone who hadn't made a deal for power or someone who hadn't made a deal to remove the staff, because it was so that only they couldn't, but everyone, literally anyone on this earth that hadn't made a deal with something evil for power, respect, or worship, or beauty, or this or that, would have been able to take the staff out and move the staff as well. And they made a rumor that it was this almighty test to see who the chosen one was, but that was not true. It was all a trick to get them to move the staff so that these evil things could get back out of the earth. Yeah. And yeah, so they were just trying to make a deal and make people think it was this almighty chosen thing to remove the subject because they could not remove it themselves. But really, anyone kind, pure of heart, who had not made a deal with evil for power would be able to remove that staff. And they were quite tricky, and they were trying to get these people or beings to remove the staff for them, because any ordinary human who hadn't made a deal could remove that staff, anyone. Although if a demon or the child of a demon had have removed the staff, then they would probably be pretty good and pure of heart too. But it's an interesting story that shows you the angles we see things from. Like, some of the things we know or are taught or told in this world are quite different and contradictory to what it actually was and is and should be, you know what I mean? It can be all about perspective, what you can see, what you can't see, what should be where, what shouldn't be where, what's taken, what's sealed, what's stolen, what deceit out of jealousy and spite and weak intent. Some people say, oh, I'm the biggest, baddest being out there because we managed to beat someone 10 on 1. Some people say I survived. Some people say this or that. Some people say lies of this or that. I don't know. Some people say they're insulted when they're not. Traditionally speaking, the ones who attack someone for being insulted are the fairies in some Scottish lore I've been hearing about. But it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I can't really think of any more stories. There's pointless stories, and this is the pointless reading. Cool. Peace, love, night, bye.